Greetings, history buffs, and welcome to History Lessons with a History Maker, Episode 4. I am your host, Gavin McGavin, and today we look at Scotty Ryan versus myself for the EPW Coastal Championship at Gold Rush 2017. You can hear already the crowd very strongly behind Scotty Ryan when only a month prior to this, he was one of the bad guys as part of Gen Zero. He'd been booed out of buildings for over a year now. All he had to do was attack yours truly from behind, and now he's a superstar. Tell you what, that's a pretty great looking shirt I'm wearing there, and if you'd like to get your hands on that shirt, it's an old design, but it is back in stock thanks to the great people at Wrestler Merch. You can head to Wrestler Merch and look up Gavin McGavin under the WA section and get yourself one of those t-shirts. As Jones Good gets ready to announce me in this championship match, I might as well plug my whole outfit. The tights you see there are designed by my gear designer for the last decade, Dinky Dye, based out of WA here. She has amazing prices, amazing quality, and the best thing is you can go in and actually see her and get things adjusted. Make sure you get exactly what you want. My boots are made by just about everyone's boots. Are made by, in Australian wrestling, Steve the Shoeman, based over on the East Coast. Once again, really fantastic prices, great quality gear. So if you're a wrestler out there looking to improve your look, hit up Dinky Dye and Steve the Shoeman. Okay, here we go. Gavin McGavin versus the big rig Scotty Ryan locking up to start us off. Now, Scotty Ryan is not the only big rig in Australian wrestling. There are 3 by my count. But I can vouch for the fact that he was the first big rig. He may not be the biggest big rig, but he definitely used that moniker first. So I'm going to have to say that he's the original. Just testing each other out a little bit here, seeing who is the strongest of the two, and I think the big rig proved there that it was him. Now you can see there I just flexed my right calf a little bit. I felt a bit of a pull as I went backwards there, which at the time I thought nothing of, but in hindsight, I do believe that that right there was a tiny little tear which bothered me for a few years to come, ultimately culminating in a massive tear in a match I had in Darwin last year. So there you go, something as innocuous as that led to some pretty significant problems for me a couple of years down the track. Greco-Roman knuckle lock here, test of strength between Scotty Ryan and I. Another opponent that I'm quite evenly matched with in terms of size. Oh, monkey flip there. 1, 2, and both bridging up. Nice bridge. Nice wrestling move for a change for all of you Beyond the Mat fans out there. Again, an opponent that I matched up with quite well. It's not the first time we'd wrestled each other. First time we wrestled each other was in a dark match at Hell or High Water back in 2012, I think it was. This, as I said, not our first match. We'd wrestled each other many times in the tag team division as well, as Scotty Ryan reverses there. Beginning of this match really was hold for hold, counter for counter. We'd wrestled each other through our tag team days when he was one half of the Dropkicks, I was one half of Nick Massive, and the two teams feuded for quite a while and had quite a few good matches. There we go, taking Scotty down with a variation on the snapper, and he takes my arm straight back. Scotty Ryan, no slouch in the technical department. As I said in previous episodes, this title was about real wrestling to me, as I make a lovely transition there with an Eddie Guerrero-inspired leg pick. Switch him over to his stomach, and he takes the arm once again. These are the sorts of opponents that I wanted to get in there and mix it up with. The other guys who had technical prowess, so we could do hold for hold, counter for counter. Show the world real wrestling, as I get a handful of hair there, just for a little bit of leverage, and bang! Elbow right to the point of the jaw. There's a bit of real wrestling for you, Scotty. What are you going to do about it? Whoops. Spoke too soon. Man, I watched this match earlier today. I really should have remembered that that was coming. But to be fair, if Scotty didn't want to have his hair pulled, he shouldn't have long hair. I've always said that. You have long hair in a match, you're just asking for it. Just like he was hanging his long legs there right where I could grab him and bring him down to the post. You can see there on commentary, Tyler Jacobs. This was, of course, back before Tyler Jacobs got himself a cult of children. He was one of the headhunters at this stage. Last time we would have seen him would have been in episode 1 of History Lessons with a History Maker, where he appeared in the 15-man Royal Rumble at Reawakening 15 to crown the first ever Coastal Champion, which of course was myself. Scotty Ryan, third man in. He came third in the Rumble, if you can call it that. I usually call it second place loser. But he came down right to the wire, which is why he felt that he deserved, oh bang, big leg lariat there, which is why he deserved that he was next in line after I got past Alex Kingston to get a shot at my Coastal Championship. I think he felt somewhat slighted by the fact that well, there are no friends and partners in a Royal Rumble, but I guess the way he took it was I sort of stabbed him in the back when I threw him out over the top rope. But Royal Rumbles are every man for themselves, and speaking of a man, no man likes to take that maneuver ever. And that's how I know. That is only second to bang! Being popped straight in the jaw by Scotty Ryan. I had to check to see if all my teeth were still there after that one. So yes, I won the Rumble. I went through the runner-up Alex Kingston. And now taking on Scotty Ryan to see if I can keep my claim to being the leader of the Coastal Championship division. Shooting Scotty into the corner there, showing a bit of agility, going up and over, sidestepping, and here we go. One of my favourite little manoeuvres ever. Bang! Back straight into the buckle, and there's an opening, an elbow straight to the ribs, and another one for good measure. And bang! Now, if I know me, and I do, and I also watched this match earlier today, I am going to spend a lot of time in this match really working over Scotty Ryan's back. As I said earlier on, I figured out that he was stronger than me and he could play the power game. The power game would work to his favour. Not if I take out his back. He's going to struggle to lift. He's going to struggle to exert as much force if his back muscles are spasming, if he is struggling to keep himself upright. Every single wrestler who is worth their salt will watch back all of their matches and pick them apart. Was my strategy on point? How did I execute? How could I have improved in this match? And I am no different as I watch now at a really well executed back suplex. Nothing to complain about there. But one thing that is bugging me throughout this match is my hair. I have far too much of it. It is far too fluffy and shiny and floofy, and something needs to be done about it. I think it was after watching this match that I started to do a little trick whereby I could make sure that my hair would stay wet for the entire match. That does two things. One, it keeps it out of my eyes, and two, it also helps to cool me down as I start to overheat during a match. Going for a suplex here against Scotty Ryan, but apparently I haven't worked him over enough, and he's still got enough to block it. But his back is starting to fail on him. My plan is working perfectly. As you can see, I think I'm pretty smart. Hey, ref! Handful of tights there leading to that neck breaker. Who would do such a thing? I don't know about that. Every single match I have ever had with Scotty Ryan, whether it be that dark match back in 2012, the tag matches, or this series of single matches, and every match we've had since, has always been a very back and forth affair. Always been very evenly matched, Scotty Ryan and I. We came up at a similar time. I was a year or two ahead of him, but we at one point trained together quite a lot. We are obviously a similar size and build and a similar style of wrestling as well. We like to use the technical, but we can really get on our bikes and move when we need to. Scotty Ryan is probably one of the smoothest movers I've seen in an EPW ring, as I then go right back to the back, putting a knee into it there. As I said, Scotty Ryan, when he is on a roll, not many people move as smooth as he does, and that makes it very hard to wrestle the momentum back in your own favour. During this, you can hear the crowd getting behind Scotty. You can also hear them getting stuck into me from time to time with the old classic "can't get the job done" chant, which of course was originally directed towards, another neck breaker there. Scotty Ryan's got a game plan too, it seems. The "can't get the job done" chant, which is rung out through many EPW shows, was originally directed towards Bobby Marshall. The reason being is that he managed to keep finding himself back in the mid to late 2000s with all these big opportunities, whether it be title matches or tournaments, but he always fell short of winning the big one. This is, of course, before he actually became EPW champion. But the crowd used to give him a real hard time with can't get the job done frequently. And you could see that would frustrate Bobby because he felt the same way. He didn't know what he needed to do to finally break through and win the big one. It took him many chances before he finally capitalized and became the guy in EPW. But since he did that, he didn't look back and had quite the run. If you ask me, and you didn't, but this is my show, so I'm going to say what I think anyway, the can't get the job done chant is far too frequent. It's used too much by fans these days. I've had people get on my back saying can't get the job done after I've hit one offensive move for the match. Exactly how easy did you think it was going to be for me to defeat these people? Mate, give it a rest. I think even the half the fans have turned on the other half that are still chanting it. Scotty Ryan here going for a superplex, which he's become a bit synonymous with. But before this match, it hadn't really been a move that... Oh, that's not a nice landing. It hadn't really been a move that we'd seen from Scotty Ryan. And now that I'm up top, I'm contemplating maybe doing a 450. Maybe a bit of a shooting star. But no, I'm a real wrestler and flips aren't real wrestling, as I'm informing the crowd. I'm going to get back down where it's nice and safe, or at least I would have, had it not been for the cat-like agility of Scotty Ryan and the most beautiful superplex I think I've ever seen. I didn't appreciate the beauty at the time, as it rocked me something fierce and really set my back on fire, but in hindsight, that is one of the most picture-perfect, beautiful, top rope superplexes you will ever see. As well as switching the match back in his favour, that move was a real turning point for Scotty Ryan in terms of how the fans saw him. There was a real strong feeling that the crowd really got behind him after that. Every now and then, there's a moment in a match and you feel it, when the crowd finally clicks and connects with that wrestler. And for him, it was that superplex. Here we are trading stiff chops back and forth, but apparently it's not good enough for Superfan because he keeps yelling out harder, harder, which absolutely frustrates me. We're hitting each other pretty hard, mate. If you'd like to get in and give it a try, I'm more than happy to stand across the ring from you. As I said, that superplex felt like a turning point for the crowd and Scotty Ryan. He showed them something they hadn't seen before, and from then on in, he was a massive crowd favourite. Another turning point like that I have felt before is Scotty Ryan going for the jackknife pin there. 1, 2, and going for the bridge, and both of our backs giving out there, and got it on the second try. Another moment that I can crystal clear remember, where the crowd went from liking a wrestler to being enamored and loving that wrestler and in full support, was my first match with Julian Ward the year after this. He had picked me up for a suplex, and I was kneeing him in the head to get him to let go, and he dropped down into a full squat position. He then stood straight back up out of the squat position and gave me a massive suplex, and the building erupted. They decided that Julian Ward was now their guy. Scotty Ryan now really wants to be the guy, really wants that Coastal Championship, but I've switched momentum here, shot him into the buckle, and here we go with, bang, a huge Chaos Series 1, 2, and no. That was about as picture perfect as you're going to see that move. Every time Scotty Ryan and I got in the ring, not only was it a back and forth contest, but it was a hell of a thing to watch. They were entertaining, hard-hitting, innovative matches, which the crowd still talk about to this day. This match really started to put Scotty Ryan and I on the map in EPW. I know I've said that every single episode, but this was the one that showed we don't need an EPW former champion across the ring from this. We don't need a rumble. Two guys in the mid-card, if you want to call it, going back and forth, putting on show-stealing performances as the ref is distracted. Here I'm quite clever, going for that low blow. Scotty Ryan catches the leg, and here we go for, believe it or not, the first sharpshooter he has ever put on. That's right. He found himself an opportunity. I talked to him about this a while later. He'd never used the move before, but an opportunity presented himself. And here he has me right, dead to rights in the center of the ring. If I tap out, Scotty Ryan is going to become the EPW Coastal Champion. So I did the next best thing and I slapped the ref in the face. Scotty Ryan has, of course, now won the match. He believes this to be his crowning achievement. The moment where he gets his hands on the Coastal Championship for defeating Gavin McGavin by submission in his mind. What he doesn't know, of course, is that I wasn't slapping the mat. I was slapping the ref, and still your champion, Gavin McGavin. Now, this is 2 matches I've won by DQ in a row now. So something's going to happen about that. After this match, the announcement will be made that Scotty Ryan would get another shot at me, and this time it would be under no disqualification rules. And that is the match that we're going to look at next week in episode 5 of History Lessons with a History Maker. Thank you very much for watching today. Please make sure you like, share, subscribe, and leave a comment so that we can get this in front of as many people as possible. I've been Gavin McGavin, the real wrestler. Thank you very much.